I'm Emma and welcome to our Yinish Yoga class. I say ish because in a traditional yin class, you're going to hold poses anywhere from 2 to 7 minutes. And while we are going to hold some for an extended amount of time, it won't go all the way to that 7-minute mark. But the goal is that you will leave here with a calmer nervous system, deeper stretch, and really helping your muscles to soften into that. And then you'll walk out of here feeling lighter, happier, maybe even a little taller. And so let's go ahead and get to it. We'll take a deep breath together. Ready? Let's inhale. And exhale out the mouth with parted lips. Another breath in, thinking about why you took this time out of your day to be here. I hope it's to take care of yourself. Hope it's because you love yourself and you want more connection to your body. Let's make our way down to the mat. We're going to start in supported bridge today. So I encourage you to grab a bolster. So go ahead and push pause if you need to. If you don't have a bolster, a pillow or a couple of blocks are going to work just fine. So the feet are going to be resting on the mat, knees bent up towards the ceiling, feet are hip width apart, and then you just go ahead and recline down. Then take your pillow or bolster and you are going to lift up your hips, slide the pillow under your hips, and then just go ahead and rest down. And if you need a wiggle and kind of find that nice comfy spot where you really feel supported and can let go, go ahead. I invite you to close your eyes here. We're just going to take a few breaths. And just allow ourselves to come into the space and feel connected and supported by the ground. Maybe feeling the mat under your feet, feeling the pillow under the hips and tailbone, the low spine. It might be more comfortable for you to take your feet out to the edges of the mat and rock your knees in to touch, or it might feel better just to keep them parallel. Maybe as you breathe, you want to put one hand on the heart and one on the belly. Completely up to you. 2 more breaths. Letting everything soften from the head all the way down to the toes. Gently place your arms out to the side, so palms facing down or up, whatever's more comfortable for you. I like mine down. And we're going to pick up one knee and then the other, so both are just feet are floating in the air. And then we're going to extend the legs straight up to the sky and point and flex our feet and just kind of move them back and forth and roll the ankles around. If you ever have headaches, this is a great way to get rid of them. Is just find some inversion here. The blood flowing in the opposite direction, right? And just play around with that. Sometimes it even feels good to kind of let the legs float out to the side in a airborne straddle. And then let them float, like the foot can float towards the face, the other one towards the back of the room, and just see what that is like for you. And maybe that doesn't feel good, and maybe you want to bring them back. That's totally fine. And just pay attention to what you like. And let's bring them back up towards the top. Let's bend the knees and place the feet back on the floor. And then pick up the hips so you can pull the bolster up and out of the way. And then we're just going to go ahead and roll the spine all the way down. Take the feet and walk them out towards the edges of the mat. And you're going to drop the knees down to the right side as you look over to the left on the exhale. On the inhale, we're going to drop the belly down and bring the knees up towards the ceiling, and then look to the other side as we're going to drop them towards the left on the exhale. So inhale up to center, everything's in the center. Exhale out to the side, finding a deeper stretch every time. last one each side. So we're up in the center, or maybe you're not, and go to the right, look left. Back to the center and look over to the right, knees go to the left. And then come back to the middle, pull the knees into the chest, let the hands come onto the shins and pull them down, big exhale. And pause and hold, it might feel good to rock them back and forth or just be still. We're going to rock ourselves all the way up. If you want to use your hands to help, that's absolutely great. And then we're going to come into our table position. So hands are going to be directly under the shoulders. Knees are under the hips. We're going to drop the chest down, raise the sit bones, chin is up. Inhale. Exhale to find our cat. Inhale to rock forward to our cow. And exhale. Really be dramatic here with the movement, letting your intuition kind of guide you of what feels good. Maybe you rock a little forward. And let's all find our way all the way back to child's pose. Big exhale out, forehead on the mat. Just for one breath here. Inhale. Full exhale, let it all go. If ever you want to sigh, go with that. Follow what feels nice to you. We're going to come back onto into our tabletop, but we're going to round all the way through and drop into our upward dog. So broadening, shining your chest forward, raising the legs off or the knees off the ground. And then moving with the breath, pull the belly button to spine, knees drop to the ground, rock all the way back to child's pose. 3 times, child's pose to up dog. Here we go. Rounding, 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 drop into upward dog. Shoulder blades glide down the back. And then knees come down to the mat, rock all the way back to child's pose. Let's do it one more time. Nice and slow, finding full extension of each posture. And then come on back to child's pose. Widen the knees a little further, really sinking down here, forehead to mat. 2 big breaths. Feeling supported by the mat, the floor. Noticing what's happening in your body. We're going to take our hands and walk them over to the right side. So we're going to find a nice long extension from the left pinky all the way down to the left hip. Yearning that left hip away from the pinky. Finding a deep stretch in the side body. And let go. You find parts of your body are a little sore today from some of the things you've been doing. You can thank yourself for working hard, for showing up, living your life. And breathe into those sore, tight spaces and imagine they're just expanding or opening like a balloon. When you breathe into a balloon, you just put lots of air and it expands. Now let's walk over to the other side. I'm going to find 5 breaths over here now. So we're reaching over to the left. We're finding a nice deep stretch from the right pinky all the way down the side body to that right hip as the right hip draws down towards the right heel. What sounds are you wanting to make? And that's our last one. Let's come back to the center. We're gonna go ahead and come on up onto our hands, cross your feet so that you can sit back on your sit bones. Sit back on your sit bones, that didn't make sense. Anyway, bring your feet together as we find our nice butterfly. And we're gonna find a tall spine here. Imagine that somebody is pulling you up nice and tall. You're yearning for the sky before you start to lean forward. So you can have your hands on your feet or your ankles or your shins or whatever makes sense to you. And your feet can be as wide or far apart from your body as makes sense to you, and like whatever feels good to you. We're really going for the nice feel-good sensation here, not the ouchy stretch. So get nice and tall. I like my hands on my feet. That feels nice to me. And then we're going to draw our hips down towards our feet, or our ribs down towards our feet with a nice flat back first. We're going to hold this for 3 breaths, trying to get nice and tall. Think up with your head, and then ribs come forward. So yin yoga is great because it helps you get into 3 different focuses. The first one is focusing on the body. What is happening within the body? How do you feel? What are you supposed to do? Really coming into yourself, noticing your body. And now go ahead and on that next exhale, tuck chin to chest, find lots of rounding and come down, sinking down. The second focus is that we pay attention to our breath, trying to find that full, deep cycle of breath. Breathing in through the full rib cage, diaphragm, like expanding the rib cage with the diaphragm. And then full exhale out. And the last focus is to unfocus, to just be. Allow yourself to let go and be present and not really think about the body, not think about the breath, but you're just here in this moment, enjoying it. Marinating in the goodness that's happening within your body. On the exhale, slowly, gently rise. And let's go back into our tabletop. And from here, we're going to widen our knees just slightly, and you can just for a little bit better support. But we're going to be threading the needle, so if you're familiar with that, you can set yourself up for that position. So hands are going to be under our shoulders, and we're going to reach our right arm up to the sky, broadening our chest, yearning backwards. And then when we exhale, draw that right hand under the left shoulder, twisting all the way so that the right cheek finds its way down to the mat. And you can either push the mat away with your left hand, or if you want to, you can float the left hand up to the sky, or even around your back, trying to find that right inner thigh and twist and come open. Remember what we just talked about. Focus on the body, what it's supposed to do, how does it feel? Find your breath, and then just be. Twisting. Breathe in. And out and release. So we're going to bring that hand down. Replace the right hand where it was under your shoulder. And we're going to take the right knee off the mat, and let's place the foot up towards the front. So it's going to be at an angle. Your foot isn't right in front of your hip, it's towards the side as we make our way into lizard pose. So you want to sink the hips down, maybe kind of wiggle around for a minute before we find that posture, and just wiggle. You might even come up and onto your toes, straightening that back leg, and kind of find a little juicy stretch there. 3 more seconds, and we're going to find our lizard. Moving around. Good, and a couple options. You can either stay up tall with your arms straight like this, or you can use a bolster or a block and put them under your elbows and come down onto your elbows like this. Or you can put your elbows on the ground. whatever is fine with me. Just what can you find stillness in, is we're gonna hold this for 6 breaths. So find your choice and sink down. Letting your left hip draw downwards as gravity naturally is pulling that. That's totally fine. Opening up that right hip, finding more space there. Trying not to round too much in the upper body, but just let everything from the hips up be nice and soft. Last one. Place the hands back under the shoulders on the mat. And we're gonna rock back, extending the leg. And now we're in half split. Exhale and just hold. Pull the toes towards the body, flexing the foot. Now rock forward, back into lizard. Inhale, broadening the chest. Exhale, go back into half split. 2 more of those. Great, when we're back in the lizard position, go ahead and just pick up that foot, replace that knee back down. And we're going to go out to the other side with thread the needle. So making sure that the knees are slightly wider than the hips. Reach the left arm up to the sky. If you want, you can roll the wrist at the top. That might feel nice. Broadening the chest. And then the exhale brings us down. And the arm goes out towards the sky. Reaching, reaching, reaching. The further you reach with that hand and pull under, the more of a stretch you're going to get in your shoulder. Right arm can either float up or around. Totally up to you. You try it and you settle where you settle. We're not straining here. We're stretching. There's a difference. Maybe it makes more sense to do like 70% of your best today, not 100. Twisting, and releasing back down. Place the hands under the shoulders. Pick up, replace that right knee back under the right hip. Pick up the left knee and then place the foot so it's at an angle at the top of the mat. And then start to bring your hips down towards the mat. You want to make sure, I should have said this on the other side, that your left knee is over your left ankle to protect that joint. So go ahead and wiggle around here for a bit. Letting it get nice and loose for a second. Before we go and we sink down, let's take 3 more seconds and extend that leg. Okay, let's choose our choice over here. You can stay tall. Go on the elbows. Go on the bolster. I'm going to show that. This is really nice sometimes. And just breathe. Letting the right hip guide its way down towards the mat, being okay with that. Okay, if you are on the bolster, go ahead and put that out of the way. And from here, place the hands under the shoulders. We're gonna actually step our way up into malasana and our yogi squat. So pop the right knee off the ground and then step the right foot up so it matches the left foot and turn the toes out to a 45-degree angle. As you go ahead and lower your hips down, if you want to, you can always put the bolster under your sit bones or pillow under your sit bones and find it here. This is sometimes really nice. Or you can stay up taller, whatever you want to do. So again, take a minute to kind of see what you like. And then let's sink down into our squat in 3, 2, 1. Elbows guiding the knees open, hands or palms are pressing together, broadening the chest and raising the head towards the sky. And hold. Shoulder blades glide down the back so the neck is nice and long. Let the left hand drip towards the ground on the left side. Right arm spins up towards the ceiling. And then switch. Let the right hand glide towards the ground. Good. Then hands come to the mat. Go ahead and step back to plank just for a second. But let's rock ourselves back to a nice down dog. Fingers spread nice and wide. Index finger points forward. Really broadening the chest. If you want, you can take a deep bend in the knees first. Hip creases to the sky. Ribs to thighs. And then you extend your heels down. Maybe you want to pedal out the heels here. Bending one knee. Now let's all go into our fullest down dog. And just hold. Look to your fingers as you just bend your knees and lower them down to the ground. Flip the tops of the feet. And then let's just rise up onto our knees. Just in a little kneeling position here. Take a couple of shoulder shrugs. Bring the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers, and then pull the knuckles down towards the ground, trying to get the palms together if you can. If you can't, then just have the hands come to the hips and pull the elbows back towards each other. And we're just going to raise the chin up to the sky. We're not going into a camel. We're just broadening the chest, opening the throat. What do you want to say? How do you want to shine your heart towards the world? Good. Go ahead and come on back down. Let's rock back into our child's pose just for one good breath. Inhale. Exhale as I fix the music. Inhale. Coming out of child's pose, let's go ahead and rise up onto our knees. Cross the legs over, and we're going to come into a seated position as we work our way down into supported fish. So take your bolster or pillows or whatever it is that you have. If it's a block, it's going to be two blocks. One block is going to be here, and the other one is going to lay long ways behind you, right in between your shoulder blades. But where you want your pillow to be is right at the base of your seat. And then you let yourself just rock back, and then let the arms either go out to the side or they can come down onto the hips, whatever feels nice for you. And close your eyes and just be. Feeling the ground support you, feel taken care of, letting that beautiful heart shine. We're going to make our way back up. So pull the elbows near the body. Use them to support you as you rise up. And we're going to go and fold forward, but hold that thought. Let me guide you through this. So bend the knees and bring the feet towards you. And then you can take your hands down towards your feet. Tuck the chin to the chest, finding a lot of rounding in the spine. And start to exhale and walk the legs out, away from you, until you can find a posture, position where you're still feeling that connection of body, upper body to thigh, and really sink down. Or you can lay the legs straight out, grab your pillow, and use this as a support as you fold over your legs. You do want to feel a little bit of a stretch, but you don't want it to hurt. So whatever you want to do today that works well for you. If you have a lot of flexibility in your legs, you may not need the pillow or bolster. If that's something that you're just craving today, then use it. If you're not, then don't. It's up to you. I'm going to be here for 6 breaths. Think top of head reaching beyond the toes, finding lots of length. Think ribs down to thighs. Upper body soft. Two more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Very slowly, we're going to round up, stacking the vertebra one at a time until the last thing comes up is your head. Sometimes it feels nice to put the hands behind and just do a mini back bend here to kind of even it out. You let me know what feels right to you. And then from here, let's go ahead and we're going to take our nice supported straddle stretch. So extending the legs out to the side. You want to imagine that your pinky toes are trying to go towards the back of the room. You can take your pillow if you'd like here and set it up in front of you. It can either be here, if this is where you are today, or you can lay it down, whatever is going to make sense for you, right? Or you can just use your hands. But before we bend forward, I want you to get nice and tall and then start to walk yourself out like we did in butterfly, where you're keeping your spine nice and tall first for the first few breaths. Softening and unfurling in the thighs, in the glutes, in the hips. And then now we're going to exhale and we're going to tuck chin to chest and find that rounding. And that's where I like to have the bolster. Let's just rest here. Noticing the sensations first. Breathing into those tight spaces. And then letting go. All the stress, everything's just melting down into the ground. And then we're going to walk our way back up. I'd set the pillow out of the way for a minute. Actually bring it to the front of the mat for the next thing that we're going to do. So go ahead and come back into our downward dog. And then from here we're going to raise the right leg just barely off the ground, enough that we can bend the knee. We're going to shift our body forward and we're going to place the right knee behind the right hand as we make our way into pigeon. And then the ankle is going to go behind the left hand, and you tuck the left knee under and let that guide its way back to go into your pigeon pose. From here you have the option to stay up tall and go into the elbows or go onto the bolster, whatever feels good to you. For some people, if you are really high off the ground and you have a couple options, either use a pillow blocker bolster to go under the hips so that you can keep your hips square and feel that support there, and that way you don't put too much pressure in that joint on the right side. Last option, just to tell you really fast, is to forego the down dog. Just go straight onto your back and go into our figure four. So left foot would be on the ground, left knee goes to the sky, bend the right leg. Make sure the ankle is all the way off the thigh, so it's not putting any pressure there. We reach through and grab behind either the hamstring or on the shin, and we pull it down. So those that are in pigeon, you've been holding it for a little while. We're just gonna go for 5 more breaths and really sink in and enjoy. Opening the space, remember, think Gumby. Play-Doh, like really soft around that joint. Trying to keep your upper body and your hips square to the front of the mat, so that way that you support those joints. And one more really good softening down, sinking down breath. For those that are in pigeon, go ahead and push yourself up. Option here. You can either come out by rocking to the right side and then swinging the legs around, or for those that want to, let's go into mermaid. Left arm reaches up and back, grabs the top of the foot or the shin and pulls the leg, so you get a nice deep quad stretch on that side. And release. Great. Place the hands under the shoulders, tuck the left toes under, push yourself up off the ground, and then let's make our way back to our downward dog. For those that are doing figure four, you can just go ahead and switch sides. Inhale. Exhale, raise the left leg slightly, just enough so that you can bend the knee, bring it through. Left knee behind the left hand, the ankle behind the right hand. If you have to use your hand to help adjust you, that's great. Do it. And you might have one side that's a little bit easier than the other. That's totally normal. Oh, this guy just wants to fall out. Extend the right leg back, arms come down, head comes down, and sink down. Maybe I'll try the bolster for this one. See what this is like. Oh, I like the other way better. Just softening, unfurling at the hip. Sometimes hip stretches can be really emotional, and that's okay. We store our emotions in our hips, unfortunately or fortunately. Let's push ourselves up, and those that want to go ahead and take the mermaid stretch, reach up, look back, twisting the heart space. And just enjoying that stretch. And hold for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's push ourselves up, tuck the toes under. Find one more down dog. One good inhale, exhale. Come onto the knees. Cross the feet over and onto the feet or onto the seat. So we're going to lay ourselves down on the back. Pull the right, or extend the left leg out. Pull the right knee into the chest and give it a little hug. And then bring the foot towards the ceiling. The knee is still going to be bent. And take your index finger and hook it around your big toe, pulling that leg down towards the side of your body. So on like the outside of your ribs. So it's a half happy baby. Just pull, compressing the hip joint down. And now go ahead and extend that leg up straight. And you can keep the hook if you want, or hands can come behind the knee, whatever you want to do. And then just pull the leg towards you. As you try to keep the left leg down the ground, it's pretty hard. Finding a nice deep stretch. 2 more breaths. Now, I promise you an extra breath. There you go. Now bend the knee, and you're going to take the left hand and guide the right knee across the body. Extend the right hand out, palm down, looking towards the right side in our spinal twist. Find a little bit deeper stretch if you try to yearn your right shoulder down to the ground and then use your left hand to pull the knee down. And last breath. On the exhale, come back to center. Maybe give it a quick little hug. And then extend that leg out. Let's switch sides. So left knee is going to come in. Pull it in and down. Maybe wiggle it left and right. And then the heel goes towards the ceiling. Index finger hooks on the big toe. And pull that down in our half happy baby on this side. Really feeling that deep compression on that side. Keeping the right side really grounded on the mat so that you feel that support. Now extend that leg straight. You can keep your hook, your finger hook, or you can let your hands go around your knee, whatever makes sense for you. Straightening the leg as much as you can, pulling it towards your head. Both hips on the ground, finding a little more stretch every time you exhale. Face is soft. We're doing these stretches, it's important to have a soft face. I should have said that in the beginning, but now you'll know for next. Great, now let's bend the knee. Place your right hand on the outside of the left knee. Guide it over to the left, or to the right side. Excuse me, look to the left. Left shoulder goes towards the floor. Right knee goes down towards the ground. Make your way back to the center. Extend the legs out. And we're going to find our final resting posture for Shavasana. So you can either just lay here, palms down or up, legs as wide as you'd like. Find stillness here, or maybe it feels good to take a reclined butterfly, feet touching, knees going out to the side. Or maybe you want to return back to supported bridge or supported fish, because one of those felt nice. Completely up to you. Thank you for coming to this session today, for taking care of yourself today. I hope you show your body a lot of gratitude for all it's been through, all it's doing. Just let that love pour into every part of you as you breathe it in. And then as you exhale out gratitude. So breathing in love, exhale out gratitude. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste.